In this episode of TFX TV, this is part 2 of preparing and cleaning up your video footage, getting it ready for color grading using Cineform and After Effects. We will pick up right where we left off on part 1. Then, I'll show you how to color correct using First Light. It's time for TFX TV. Let's plug in. Hey everybody, this is Aaron Anderson with TFX TV. This is part 2 of the part 2 series of how to get your digital video cleaned and ready for color grading. So a lot to go over again as like the first one, and let's get started. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to render the clips out using the script. Click on your first footage, hold down Control, click on your second footage, go up to Animation, Keyframe Assistance, Sequence Layers, Don't Overlap, click on OK. What this does is it sequences your layers so that they're not all on top of each other, so you don't have to keep hiding the eye for everything. It just automatically sequences these. That's why I have this long 1 hour composition set up, so if you have a bunch of files here, they're going to sequence themselves all the way, expanding that hour there. So here we go. We wanted to fix that, which we did, and we come over here and we want to fix this one. Now you can't just go ahead and copy and paste, because the noise in this footage is going to be drastically different than this footage. So you're going to have to just go through and do all the cleanup again for this footage. So here we go. We finished cleaning up the footage, let's say. We want to render this out. Well, if we render it out, like if we were to go to Composition and Add to Render Queue, it's going to render all of this out into one long footage, and you don't want that. So what we need to do is render these out separately. So if we shrink this, if we shrink this to the actual first clip, to shrink this, actually, you hold down Shift, and you can drag the work area thing to the end of the clip, and of course to the beginning of the clip. And what you want to do is go to File, and we come down to Scripts, and we click on the Q work area. This little script here is only like $5, so it's really cheap and a very good script to use. And what you do is, once you basically, let's zoom in here. Once you go ahead and bring these into your work area, click on Queue Work Area. Okay, so now that's in the queue. Let's go back, and we can move this to our next footage. Click on Queue to Work Area. So you do that to each clip. You know, it's not as quick as, you know, a batch, but After Effects doesn't have a batch. You can add all your effects here, and you'll just have to one by one do it that way. And as you can see, they're all queued up into our render queue, and then all you have to do is click on Render. Okay, so after we render this footage out, remember my little file structure here, the bad, cleaned up, good, and maybe. Well, after we cleaned up all the footage and rendered out of After Effects, I go ahead and I put my footage here in the cleaned up folder. And then what I do is I open up Cineform First Light. This is an amazing program because it'll allow you to change the metadata, and then no matter what program, let's say you have this clip inside After Effects, and let's say you also have it in Premiere Pro and you're bouncing back and forth or whatever. Anytime you change anything here in the First Light, it'll also automatically change in those other programs. So let's go ahead and go File, Import File, click on one of the clips we want to use, open it up. So here's the clip we got. What these little check boxes down here do is allow you to, whatever you check here will allow you to manipulate it up over here. So I always have the white balance, the primary, that's the color correction, and overlays, or tools actually. And now we got our tools, we got our different tools here. And let's say we want to do a white balance, which isn't too necessary here, but let's say we have it checked down here. We click on white balance, you click on this pick, click a white spot in there, and it fixes it. You can also change all these different things here. I'm going to reset it because we really don't need that. So there's that. Let's say we want to do the primary correction. Let's say you have let's say this scene had two cameras, one at this angle and maybe another one off to the left here. I use this program to match those two up. So if this was a little maybe underexposed and the other one was maybe a little brighter, of course I use this to match those up. And here you've got exposure, so you can change the exposure. And I'm looking at my graphs down here, making sure you're not crushing the shadows or blowing out the highlights. That's the same with this. At the top and at the bottom is the shadows, skin tones here. So we can mess with the exposure. We can also these here are the shadows, mids, and highlights. So if we raise this up, what I usually do is try to get kind of a flatter look, kind of like when you have those flat picture styles in your Canon cameras. I like to just kind of, before I color grade, use this to kind of flatten them out a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. I'm not going to do a big tutorial here, but just messing around with some of this here. Because when I color grade, I don't want this to be too dark like that. And then once you start color grading and adding on certain color grading effects in After Effects, you're going to really crush those blacks or those shadows. So I like to kind of brighten everything up here. So let's say that looks pretty good. Another thing you can do here is, this isn't really a tutorial on this program, but just really quick, you've got looks also, which if we come down here and we click on allow the looks there, we've got all these different looks. Here's like cool tones, film, all these different film styles. It's just whatever you want there. I don't always use those. Maybe on some project I'll make a custom one maybe and use it. But I like using Colorista 2 inside After Effects. So I don't normally use this, but you definitely can make your own look right here. Let's go ahead and reset that. So there you go. We've let's say we matched up the two clips or the two cameras, or brightened it up, white balance, and all that good stuff. Oh, we got framing here too. You can zoom in. Let's go ahead and click on framing here. As you can see, you can zoom in on the clips and change stuff and whatever you want. But once that's all done, it's automatically, to show this more extreme, let's go to primary and let's just blow this out like this. And I'm going to show you. Over here's the clip that we used. And without even rendering it out, you're going to see that it's changed already. See, that's the metadata. So if we said, oh, that's no good, we can come down in here. I'm just going to go dramatic on this so you guys can see. Let's say that looked better. Without rendering it out, we play the clip, and you see it's like really dark now. So that's what's really cool about First Light. Okay, so now that we cleaned up our footage, we rendered it out, we used First Light to do the primary color correction and white balance, maybe matching two cameras up, matching footage up, giving it maybe a little bit of a flatter look. One more step I do before I color grade is I actually edit my scene or my footage of the short film or whatever you're doing, because there's no sense in taking your time color grading a large clip if you're going to cut it down anyways. So I go ahead and I open up Premiere Pro, click on New Project, Where do you want this to be saved? Let's just for now, we'll just go desktop. Here we go, desktop. Name it what you want. We'll just go test. Okay. And we are using Cineform because we never changed. Once we took the footage from our iPhone or from our whatever camera you're using, your VG20, your Canon DSLRs, Nikons, whatever, we transcoded it to Cineform, and we're keeping that same format or that same codec all the way through. So what we're going to do here is let's just say we're going to keep it in the 1080p. We're going to go 1080p right here. That's 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second. You can double click on this to find your footage, but I already have this window open here. So here's that cleaned up folder where everything is ready to be color graded, but first we're going to edit. So let's say we bring in this clip, we bring in that clip. We want to edit these two. Once you bring these two clips in, what we want to do is drag them down to our timeline. Now these clips don't have anything to do with the order of the film we're making here. I'm just doing this for purposes of showing you what to do. But let's say we see this clip here and we want to edit it. Remember, this is just a rough edit. Let's say we cut that off, and that's what we want. And he looks over right there. Whoops. We edit that. Now we come over here and we see this. We want to cut it down there. And let's say we cut it there. Whoops. Okay, so there we go. We've got our edit. Let's say, you edit your whole scene. So once we do all that, we want to color grade this and add special effects or explosions or whatever you're going to do with the footage. And instead of rendering this out and bring it into After Effects, we can just go ahead on, let's say this clip here, we want to color grade. We just right click. And then what we do is we replace with After Effects composition. This is called dynamic link. It allows you to color grade and fix the clips without, let's go to desktop here. We're just going to keep it like that. This allows you to color grade this footage without rendering it out of Premiere Pro. So I'm just going to do something real quick here. Let's say we want to do a color grade here. Colorista. Let's say we just do a really quick color grade. That looks cool. Bring up the exposure. Go to master here. Let's say we add a little bit of that in there. Like I said, I'm not doing anything big here. We're just going to quickly do something. So let's say that, ooh, that's cool. That's the look we want. Other things we want to add to this. This is the time you want to add any explosions or special effects. Also, what I always do with all my footage is I always add sharpening. So what I do is I go to Effects. After I color grade everything and match everything up, special effects and so forth, the last thing I usually do is add sharpness. So we go to Blur and Sharpen, Unsharpen Mask. And a lot of times it's the amount of 50 is the default, which is pretty good. We can see here if it's too much for you. I don't know if we can see this on YouTube, but it's making a good difference. If we went to 75, which is quite a bit, it's going to give you a real sharp look there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Let's see if I can get my, how about get my eye right there. If we turn it on, we can see that you can actually see the details in my eyes and so forth. So that's what I do. Now, if we go back into Premiere Pro, we're going to see that the changes took effect. And there it is. Let's say we wanted to, crop that or whatever. We go back into After Effects. Click S for scale. I'm just showing you roughly. You don't want to scale this up much past the 1080 it already is. And let's just show you, see. There it is. and everything looks all good. So I just go back and forth from After Effects and maybe tidy up some stuff here. And then what I do is I add my special, my sound effects down here to the clip after all my special effects are done. After you add your, killing robot from Mars and all that stuff on here, add your special effects, get everything nice and good here. And then what we do is we go File, Export Media, and I keep it in the same Cineform codec. I never change it, so I like to render out all of my work in the Cineform codec so that I have a nice clean copy of that, and then from there I can render it out using Adobe Encoder to YouTube, Vimeo, Blu-ray, or whatever you're going to do. So that's how I clean up and edit all my footage. Okay, so there you go. That was part 2 of the part 2 series. If you haven't saw part 1, please go see part 1. You should actually see part 1 first before you see part 2. It'll make more sense to you. And please go to trinityfxmg.com, because in the description of the series, and actually all the videos that I do, I always put links to the products that I use within the video and a little more detailed information on what we talked about today. So this is Aaron Anderson with TFX TV. Till next time.